Our family has been connected with a mysterious jinn for many years. In fact, there is hardly anyone in our family who has not encountered it. My name is Lazim Yassar Ziad. This story was told to me by my grandfather, and he heard it from his own father. I will tell the story exactly the way it was passed down. At that time, I had just gotten married. I had brought your mother home as my bride. But only 20 days after our wedding, my father suddenly passed away. About 8 or 9 months after my father's death, I began to notice something strange about my mother. Sometimes she would stare up at the sky and whisper quietly, as if she was talking to someone. But whenever we listened closely, we could never understand a single word. At first, we thought she was mentally broken from the grief of losing my father, but slowly we realized something far more mysterious was happening. One morning, I woke up and noticed that my mother had not come out of her room. Even at 10 in the morning, the door was still locked from the inside. We finally broke the door and rushed inside, but what we saw shocked all of us. My mother was not in the room, and there was no other way she could have left. For 2 days we searched the entire village and the nearby areas, but there was no sign of her anywhere. Then, on the 3rd day, just before dawn, I heard someone calling my name. Slowly, I stepped outside, and there, sitting quietly in the yard, was my mother. I asked her, "Mother, where were you?" She looked at me calmly and said, "Where I was is none of your concern." After that day, something strange kept happening. Sometimes my mother would disappear for 2 or 3 days, and then suddenly return as if nothing had happened. One day, I asked her for money to run the household. She simply said, "Place a large clay pot in the yard tonight. After the Fajr prayer, you will find everything you need." I didn't understand what she meant, but I did exactly what she told me. The next morning, we were stunned. The clay pot was filled with groceries and supplies for the house. Confused and frightened, I went to my grandfather. That's when he told me something shocking. Since childhood, my mother had been accompanied by a jinn. The next day, 4 religious scholars came to our house. They began reciting verses from the Quran. Suddenly, something terrifying happened. The jinn possessed one of the scholars and began to speak through him. The jinn said only one thing: he wanted to marry my mother. The scholar replied firmly, "That is impossible. But you may stay as her brother." For a moment, the room fell silent. Then the jinn agreed. After that, from time to time, it helped our family. But everything eventually comes to an end. About 8 years later, my mother passed away, and from that day on, the jinn was never seen again.